What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about how you can invest like Gary Vee. Well, more so how you can take, some of his strategies and apply it to your investing. So let me explain to you what I mean. So now if you've been watching my videos at any rate, then you know I don't typically talk a lot about numbers. I don't talk a lot about like the chart sheets and stuff like that if you're investing and the financials, and I don't talk a lot about that on this channel. Now, there's nothing wrong with analyzing and doing that research, but I just typically don't do a whole lot of conversation about that. And one of the reasons, because a lot of people do that. Now, as an investor, there's nothing wrong with doing your due diligence and just going through each line of financials and everything that's happening in the earnings report, because like they say, numbers don't lie. But here's the thing, numbers do change. So recently I was watching one of Gary Vee's shows, and he had made this comment.
I invested in Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Uber before they became what they were. This is all I know. I'm blindly consumer-centric. And as long as you're blindly consumer-centric...
What do you mean by that?
All I do is pay attention to what people are doing. Nothing else. Nothing else. I do nothing else. I don't consume the thing. I consume the people consuming the thing.
Now, that was something very similar to the stuff I talk about, how you as a consumer, you kind of dictate the stock market. You kind of dictate the way things happen within the economy. The reason is because you're the person that's buying the stuff. You're the person that's using the stuff. You're the person that's involved in it. So just understand like what I was saying. So numbers don't lie, but numbers change. So if you were to look at a company like Amazon that nobody ever would have thought was where it is now, especially if you was investing back when I started, you had no clue that Amazon would be what it is today. If you look at companies like Facebook, when Facebook came out, all the analysts from Wall Street and everywhere talked about how, oh my gosh, Facebook isn't profitable. And it was a $30 stock, and then it went down to $18 because it's not profitable. If you have a smartphones at one point people thought would never work. Nobody thought Apple's touch screen phones would ever really work. People had doubts about things like electricity when electricity was created. People have doubts about so many different things when it's created or when it's out. However, what happens is when things really affect our lives or it becomes something that we really, really need, then that's what we do. We consume it. So as Gary Vee is saying, like he watches people, he keeps his ear to the streets. That's one of the things that will help you become a better investor. As you watch things, as you keep your ear to the streets, as you listen to what people say, you watch how people are buying things, how they're spending their money, how people are reacting to different things. That can kind of dictate to you, how things are going to go with a particular company or, an investment. So to give you an example, let's go back to Facebook. When Facebook first came out, they talked about how much Facebook wasn't profitable. Now, the funny thing is most of these analysts, they probably couldn't even spell Facebook or let alone even use Facebook. And so they had everything in the world to say about Facebook. They had all the articles out there, but yet they don't really understand social media. But they were controlling, how people were spending their money and things like that because they said, hey, they not showing us the money. And look at the numbers. It's not profitable. And Facebook came out as $30, went down to $18, and now it's like, between $180, $200 a share right now. Now, me being who I was, I looked at that and I actually started investing in Facebook from the beginning when it had the IPO. And then when it went down to $18, I also invested more. One of the reasons because I use Facebook, and also I have a marketing business. So I was helping people learn how to use their social media. I was helping companies grow their social media platforms and stuff like that. So I knew that people were in it. So it was easy to tell that Facebook was going to do well. Now, you don't have to take my word for it, but however, you can take the word of billions upon billions of people who are using social media right now. YouTube, social media. So I didn't pay attention to what the analyst said. I paid attention to what everybody else was doing. I paid attention to what people were saying, how people were living their life. People would have a whole lot to say about what they saw on Facebook. Did you see my status? Oh, I saw your post and stuff like that. And so from just listening and watching those different things, right? Keeping your ear to the streets, watching people, watch how people behave and things like that, you can become a better investor. So then you can start to watch different investments from the point of view of what's real. So then what happens, like we talked about Facebook, those numbers started to change. They didn't lie, but now they started to change, and now look at Facebook. So see, look, trying to find investments is not as hard as you think if you're going to pay attention to the way that we actually are living. So if you see the world changes and now nobody wants to use smartphones anymore and they all go back to, flip phones and stuff like that, you might have to change your thoughts about phones. So there are so many different companies out here that are doing very well that you probably wouldn't realize they were doing very well. And the reason is because people use this stuff on a daily basis. They use it all the time. Companies like Domino's. Never thought Domino's would be all that great, but for some reason Domino's is doing seemingly very well. If you look at their stock price, the stock price is crazy. Or look at Priceline, where people get trips and book vacations off of and stuff like that. The company's stock price is doing pretty good. And those are just a few examples of stuff that are just like, it doesn't really necessarily make sense. And if you're thinking about it, but however, those companies are doing very well. Why? Because of us, because of people, because of human beings. So as you're becoming a better investor, think like Gary Vee, have your ear to the streets, watch people, look at how people are interacting with things, how people are doing things, and that will show you if it makes sense or not. Anyway, so I hope this little tip for you to become a better investor has been helpful. I will talk to you guys on the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.